This is getting heavier than I expected. Because with intuition, I really can't answer those questions because those are very intuition is wrong, but it is sometimes the only thing we have to go on.
Chloe Tart. Let's bring you up.
Oh,
Hi, Chloe. How you doing?
pretty good, pretty good. I believe we actually chatted before a couple of months ago.
Have we? I
Yeah,
think so.
I'm Norse Pagan, and I just thought I would come by, check in, and
Oh, okay.
let you know what life's been like.
Yeah, yeah. Catch me up. Norse Pagan. Yeah, that sounds familiar. I think it's on my old
So,
notebook.
so the ongoing God belief that I have, the ongoing
Hmm.
thing that keeps me going in all this, is that there is a strong sense of gender recognition, a strong sense of gender strength in believing in a goddess. So for me, when I get into that space of worship and I get into that space of, you know, my belief, when I get into my own beliefs,
Hmm.
that's what I find. I find a piece of myself there.
So, believing in a goddess is for you because you find a piece of yourself there. And what is piece of yourself? What exactly do you mean by that?
Oh, my feminine self.
Feminine self. Okay.
Being transgender, uh, those gender feelings are basically what's been propelling me over the last 15 years of my life.
Hmm.
It's just been following that gender feeling of like, oh, there's, this, whatever going over here.
Yeah.
And that led me into paganism. It led me into goddess worship. It led me into thinking about, archetypes of like the strong woman and then like, all of these other things that may be an explanation for why these goddess concepts keep showing up all over the place in different ways.
Hmm.
They're not
What's
exactly the same. You can't syncretize everything,
mhm.
but what you do come up with is a cast of characters that would get along well at a brunch.
Hmm.
Um, so they're complementary and they all point and circle to these bigger ideas of bigger patterns within ourselves.
Okay. Chloe, how sure do you are you that this is true? Like scale of 0 to 100. 100 being absolutely sure, no doubt.
Oh, I am 100%, or I am 100% full of doubts
100% doubt. Okay.
because every time I think about the fact that the explanation for these gods could just be a voice in my head, I
Mm.
think, well, I'm still inspired to do something in this world. I'm still inspired to be more of myself,
Hmm.
to be stronger than I was the day before.
Yeah.
So, am I full of doubt? Yes. Am I at a zero? I would say I'm about a 25 on doubt.
25% sure. Oh, are
25%
you?
sure, but I'm sure enough that though that the inspiration is real. That
Mm.
maybe there is something to this, to the archetypal reading of things.
Hmm.
Maybe we're circling around bigger concepts of a meta concept of ourself.
Okay. Chloe, what would it take for you to get to 50% sure?
A direct experience.
Direct eight. Okay. Direct experience. So right now, what's keeping you at 25%? Like, what's your best reason to be 25% sure this is true?
To be real honest, it is entertaining the idea that if my perception of the gods are real, right,
Hmm.
that not just my gods exist, but all the gods exist.
Mm.
That would open up more questions of like trying to figure that out. So
Mm.
yeah, if I was more sure, that might actually be a bad thing. Or not really a bad thing, but that might be like a contradictory thing, like something that I would have to figure out. Like, how do I deal with all those contradictions?
Yeah. So, well, it seems to me that we have a few choices in that matter. Um, all gods exist. Some do, some don't. And that may or may not include the one you believe in, or the ones you believe in, or none of them exist, right? There's, and kind of everything in between. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, but I also have a like flexible idea of what it means to exist.
Mm.
Because for
Mm-hmm.
me, like the idea of Superman exists. If I showed you a statue of Superman, you would say that's Superman. So obviously the idea of Superman exists. But is he a real thing or is he fictional?
Mm. That's
Um,
a good question.
so like what is the existence of fictional things?
Yeah.
So that's an epistemological question that, I'm actually willing to entertain is like, again, if the gods don't exist, I'm still inspired to be all of myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you say then that what if you found out tomorrow that the gods didn't exist? Do you think you would still be yourself, or as the way you put
Yes,
it, yeah, okay,
be more of myself, be as much of
be
myself as possible.
be as
Because
much as yourself
then I
as
would know for
possible.
certain that where my inspiration is coming from, and I would get rid of those doubts.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be plagued by those doubts, but I would be able to move forward much more clearly. Like I said, I've been entertaining the idea that the gods aren't real, such to the point where I believe at about 25%.
Okay, 25%.
And like I said, and the rest is doubt.
Yeah. What would it take then? Do you think to get you to say 15% sure, like bring you down 10%?
Oh, that's a good question. And again, that's going to have to be another experiential question because it's been
Experiential.
experience. Because it was experience that got me out of atheism.
Mm.
It was a direct experience of, oh, that I witnessed ritual. I witnessed all this stuff going on in witchcraft. And I was like, oh, there's feelings in this. So it was
Mm.
that experience, that direct experience, that was logical to the point where I could not ignore it. So I went
Mm-hmm.
with so I went with the theistic claim,
Mm-hmm.
if nothing more than to satisfy the answer of how does how can I get so much gender out of this? How can I get so much gender feelings out of this?
Mm. So it sounds like you had there was a, what is it? Did you say there was a Wiccan ritual that you were part of or
A witchy
experienced?
ritual.
A witchy ritual? Okay.
Yeah, just generic witchcraft,
Genetic
not tied to
witchcraft.
Wicca.
And that taps some feelings of your femininity. Would
Yeah.
that be fair to say? Okay. Um, is are feelings always, because that sounds like it's a feeling, like would you say like a gut feeling, or
Yes.
yeah, something like that? Um, what if gut feelings are wrong?
Oh, then I have egg on my face, and I'm okay with that. And I
Yeah,
am 100% okay with that
yeah. That's honest. I appreciate your honesty. That's super honest.
because for me, feelings feel very vivid and feel very
Sure. Yeah, I agree
intense
with
in my
that.
mind.
Yeah, I agree with that. They feel
Yeah,
very
some
vivid and intense to me too.
yeah, so you know how it is sometimes, how if you have that experience, it just pushes you and it pushes the neocortex out of the way and says, "You're taking a hike. We're going to be experiencing
Yeah.
the splendor of the morning sunrise."
Yeah. How could we test then to determine the truth of it? Because if feelings can be intuition, gut feelings can be wrong sometimes, or many times maybe, I don't know. Um, what's a good way we could test it to determine, to verify it's true?
Live it out, play it out.
Live it out, play it out, and see. Okay, I could see that for something like, here's an example. It's late at night and I hear a noise outside my window, right? Gut feeling tells me something's wrong because it's nighttime. I don't usually hear noises out of my window. Hey, formless. And I don't hear noises outside of my window. And it's unusual. So that can be scary for me. Um, but what's a way I can test to make sure that to verify it, whether or not it's scary?
Oh, you have to go see.
You have to go see, right? Yeah. Or I can
You
turn
have
on
to,
a light, look out the window, maybe.
yeah, turn light, look out the window, turn on your
Yeah.
security camera, whatever you got.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can verify it. So um, now, what if I couldn't verify it?
Oh, then we're talking about the world of Plato's cave, aren't we?
Maybe. I'm not too familiar with that. Can you enlighten me?
Oh, so I am not a philosophy student, and I did
It's
very
okay.
poorly in
I'm not
philosophy.
either. I'm not either. It's
Okay,
okay.
so my understanding of Plato's cave is that imagine that you lived in a cave all your life, shackled up, and all you could see was just shadows of yourself. And
Hmm.
then one day, one of you figured out how to get out into the real world. How do you describe the real world to the people who've only seen the cave?
Yeah. 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 Exactly. So that kind of sounds like the same thing. And would it then be justified? Let's just say the noise just happens and it's an unusual noise. I can't verify what the noise is or what made the noise. Is it justified? And I'm feeling a little scared. Is it justified to continue feeling scared?
Yeah, that's a good question
Like if I
because
just can't verify it, I don't know what it is. Or maybe another way I can take it is it. What if I said, oh, it's an intruder? Um, is it justified for me to assume it's an intruder?
ooh, this is getting heavier than I expected. Because with intuition, I really can't answer those questions because those are very intuition is wrong, but it is sometimes the only thing we have to go on.
Sometimes, yeah. I I
And
like I
I'm
like
trying
I
to
love how you
develop
said that. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
because I think if we have a set of like expectations and understandings and like a lens to view
Hmm.
our intuition from, we can understand at least how we feel about something. And that is a true fact of, what is going on, whether or not your intuition is right or wrong.
Mm.
That is what your intuition came to.
Yeah.
And and knowing that and knowing that's where it came from and being able to understand the threads of it, like that's worth it, I think,
Mm.
from a mystic's point of view at least.
Yeah. Like I guess maybe we can explore this gut feeling a little bit. Like, is it because from that vantage point, I hear a strange noise outside. I feel scared, right? Because it's an unusual, strange noise. Maybe it's a loud bang. Maybe it's something like that. Very unusual, loud noise, and it startles me. And so now I'm feeling scared. Um, so what do you think I'm scared of?
Oh, that becomes then a question of what are my biases in the world?
Yeah, right. Good. Yeah, I
Probably a
love I love how
cat.
you said that. Maybe a cat.
Probably a
Maybe
cat.
yeah.
Or
Maybe a
just
cat.
a wild animal.
Yeah.
I mean, it could
So
be ghosts, but I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Kidding.
could be. Could it be then? So would it be? So what would the justified next move? What would be the next justified move? Would it be to say assume it's a cat and just kind of go outside and with cat food? Because I mean, what if it is an intruder? Then I'm kind of screwed with just holding a can of cat food, right? Or on the other side, would it be justified to come out with a shock, with a weapon? Let me put it that. I don't want to get in trouble with TikTok. Would it be
Oh yeah.
justified to come out with a pew pew weapon? And what if it is just a cat?
I think this relies on what is your ultimate bias. What are you ultimately biased towards?
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm biased towards the peaceful option. I'm biased towards
Mm-hmm.
it's probably like a wild animal. I'm
Yeah.
biased towards it's probably just the wind. I'm biased towards it's probably just a backfiring car. And I
What
think
if?
it has to do with your world outlook
Mm, yeah.
and
I
what
think I might agree
assumptions
with
you're
that.
willing to make.
Yeah, I think I might agree with that. What if I just said, I don't know what it is. I'll wait and see.
I think that's also a mindset. I think that's a beautiful
Mm,
mindset because it doesn't put a lot of pressure on the future.
yeah. Yeah. So with that in mind, um, why is your belief in a goddess at 25% rather than, I don't know, I'm not sure. Wait and see.
Oh, that's a good question. Because that's actually where I'm actually pretty much at. I'll wait until I wait until I drop over. Once my time on this earth is over, I'll find out 100% which way the winds are blowing.
Yeah. Hey, go to God. Yeah, yeah. Good to see you. Yeah. And um, would it be like, is there an advantage to guessing? Well, guessing might be a strong word. It might be too assumptive. Let me rephrase that. Would it be, is there an advantage to declaring that, yeah, probably it is a god. Maybe it is paganism because it touches my femininity. But what if, is there an advantage to that for you?
Well, when I get into the community, I feel like I'm at home.
Mm.
So so for me, there's the advantage. And like in the moment, in those moments where I'm with community, and I'm in those moments uh where I'm with others, the question of whether or not these gods exist go away entirely. And I am just more concerned with being a good member of that community.
Being part of the community. Okay.
Yeah.
What benefits does the community provide you?
Companionship
Companionship.
and shared values because there are a lot of people who get into this thing and they don't share a lot of those core values that I share with a lot of my friends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Makes sense.
I've gotten lucky enough to be in a community that shares my values. Um, and the advantage I would really say is just that feeling of being alone just melts away. That
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and just I feel part of something that's bigger than myself.
That's really awesome for you, man. I mean, that is,
So whether or not
yeah,
gods exist,
that's
there's
awesome.
something bigger than myself,
Yeah.
and it's this community.
Let me ask you this. If you could find a community that has these same characteristics, the companionship, the shared values, it gives you the same feeling, um, maybe it doesn't have the same belief. Would that do it for you?
Probably not,
Hmm.
because that 25% is pretty powerful.
So that has an effect as well.
Yeah,
Got
so that
it.
25% does take me into this community
Yeah, yeah.
because I went from zero to something, and going
Mm,
from zero to something was a lot.
mm.
And that was just such a huge mind shift, just going from zero to
Yeah,
25,
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
that I'm not looking forward to the 0 to 50 mind shift.
yeah. Would it be so? Because I think we had said earlier, I might have asked earlier that if you found out tomorrow this wasn't true, um, it's not, and it was kind of a different. I asked it in a different way. I said, would it still, would it have any effect on your, your femininity? And I think you said no, not really. You would continue to progress. Was
Yeah, pretty
am I
much.
saying that right? But
Yeah,
now that yeah, but now that you said this about the 25%, because it sounds like the 25% is of this 25% certainty is a pretty important part of this of the benefits you get in the community, like the companionship, the shared values, the camaraderie, the feelings that you get. And I'm wondering if you believe like um, that if that 25% were somehow separated, that would affect that companionship and values that you currently enjoy.
it would, because those initial experiences
Mm,
that brought me specifically to where I'm at now,
yeah,
um, are pretty powerful and part of that
yeah,
25%.
yeah.
Um,
I get
so
that.
I
I hear
mean,
that.
once you hallucinate the Norse gods telling you to take your meds and go to therapy, what do you do with that?
Yeah, yeah. I hear
What
you.
do you do with that experience? Like, I mean, I went to therapy and I take my meds and told my therapist about it, and she's just like, I have no idea either.
Mm, yeah, I got it. I got it. And okay, so I guess to kind of just to clarify to make sure I hear you right, it sounds like this belief is more than just a belief in a you know in the goddess and the feminine self and paganism and all that. It's more than just that. It comes there's a lot that comes with it. It's a package deal. The community, the the companionship, the shared values, the feeling of belonging, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I've never
Makes
thought of it
sense.
as cohesive like that before, actually,
Yeah.
because like I've always thought these were just separate things in my life that I was taking.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize they were coming together cohesively
Yeah.
in a package that actually mattered to me.
Yeah. How does that make you feel realizing that?
I'm makes me glad that I've got therapy in 2 days.
I don't know. That could go either way. Like, you could be happy about that or you could be dreading. I don't know. But
Oh, I love my
um
therapist. I have,
oh good,
oh
good,
yeah,
good, good, good.
love therapy.
Because sometimes when people say, "Oh, I gotta," oh, it makes me, I gotta go to therapy because I gotta figure this out. Now I'm freaking out about it. But I'm happy to hear that. I didn't want to cause an existential crisis.
Oh, what's a TikTok live without an existential crisis or two?
Good spirit. Good spirit.
All right, I'm
So,
gonna drop off. Just
yeah,
let the next
Corey, this was
person
a
up.
good talk. This is a good
All right,
talk.
thanks for
Thanks
having
for
me
coming
up. I
out.
will be
Yeah.
back, and
All right. Yeah,
all
yeah,
right,
come back and
bye.
tell me how it goes. Take it easy.